Alright guys, thanks for tuning in to this tutorial on how to draw this octopus here that looks like it's going in and out of a piece of lined paper. So first thing you want to do is get yourself a reference image, something you're going to copy. And I like to use this method by scribbling graphite on the back. You can then just turn the paper over, scribble on the back, and then this is now the front side, and trace over your lines, and that's going to give yourself that sort of a ghost image onto your piece of paper that you're working on. You saw it there just for a second. It's very light though, and there's that ghost image all ready to go. So what I'm doing here is I've taken a couple sheets of paper and taped them down. So I'm trying to do this in a couple of different ways. The first way is to actually create sort of a fake version of a piece of paper. So I'm drawing the piece of lined paper in its entirety, line by line. This is a very tedious and time-consuming process, but I think it is worth it in the end to not have those little blue lines where you don't want them. Alright, at this point I've got all my lines drawn in as if I had worked on a regular line piece of paper. What you see me doing here is putting tiny little X's on the lines that I'm going to erase. This just helps guide me so that I don't get confused. I did discover that it is a little bit easier, especially with the transfer being so light, to just draw in the areas that I want to keep instead of erasing the areas I want to get rid of, because they are so light, they were sort of disappearing on me. Alright, here's a little bit of real-time footage just to show you how time-consuming it is to do the drawing. Alright, and back to the fast version here. This is me just going in between each of the lines that I've erased and filling in the details so I can see them. Alright, and you see that I did put that original image back on there to sort of retransfer it for a second there because things did get kind of lost. Okay, really important part here, and this is why I've slowed it down to the point where you can watch and see exactly what I'm doing. The drawing's basically in place now, and I have all of these spaces taken out where I want them taken out. At this point, I am going back in and carefully drawing in the end of the tentacles to make them look like they're wrapped around those what now look like bars. And this part you have to use your imagination a little bit because you are no longer going off of your reference. Alright, and then I have the end of that tentacle just swing up above that bar to push the illusion even further of three-dimensionality. Alright, in this next part here, I start to draw that tentacle just above the one I was just drawing. This one sort of tailor-made to just connect these lines here to see me doing, and then having the part in the back just continue to go behind it. So that one was nice and easy to do. Just got to firm up a couple lines and get things how you want them. I do decide to, just like in the last one where I had the end of that tentacle sort of wrap around that paper bar, sort of chose to do the same thing there, just once again to push that illusion in any opportunity that you can. And so now that end of that tentacle just sort of pokes around that corner there and makes it look even more three-dimensional. Alright, and then now you get to see this with the time-lapse, so it actually is a good pace. You can see all the little changes I made and still get a pretty good view of how it works. That one there was pretty easy. That leg there, I decided to have it go over several of the lines. You can choose to do that. You don't have to have the tentacles go over, under. They can go over however many and under however many you would like. The tentacle I'm working there, the one in the upper left corner, goes over and under in a few different ways. So feel free to get as creative as you'd like with how the arms go in and out of the lines once you've got them drawn. Alright, and at this point the drawing is in place. I'm just going through now with a pencil and adding some details and darkening in things firming up things and getting the drawing a little further along. All right, here's the part where you have to be extra careful. Any inking you do is now permanent, so you want to really be aware of where your pen is heading. Obviously, you wouldn't want to go over a line that you intended to be light. Using the pen really does add a lot of pop to the drawing and really helps it stand out. So to me, this is a big turning point where the drawing really starts to come to life and take on those aspects of three-dimensionality. Once again, though, be really careful. If you do happen to make a mistake with the ink pen and draw over a line that you intended to not draw over, you can just have that part be over, like over instead of under. You saw there for a second as the paper popped onto the screen, I was using the edge of a paper as sort of a shield. That was another strategy that I thought worked pretty well. Okay, so here I'm using a ruler and a light blue colored pencil to add in, draw in those lines that I had drawn previously in pencil. Now it really looks like a piece of notebook paper. Okay, this part's really important as well. You want to go through the drawing with a pencil and just add some value to each of the little sections so that they stand out against the white of the paper. Once again, this is where the drawing is going to start to really pop out and look more three-dimensional. You can even play around with cast shadows on some of those little bars and really start to make things look like this octopus is climbing around on. Alright, so there's the first version of the final piece. I went ahead and added some little doodles and things to make it look a little more like something that would be in a kid's notebook. Alright, well, I go ahead and experiment with a second type of drawing. This drawing is one that I did myself. It's not something I got off the computer. I went ahead and drew this quick sketch of an octopus. This one I went ahead and did on paper that already had lined on it, so this is actual notebook paper. Whole process here took me about an hour from start to finish. It was much easier. I did the tentacles a lot simpler, and I had them wrap around the paper bars in a lot less places, and the process was just way simplified. To make the little blue lines that you're going to see crossing over your drawing disappear, I just shaded them, and that pretty much took care of it. So a lot easier. I would highly recommend going that direction. So there's the final piece. I think it looks just about as nice as the other one and took just a fraction of the time. So hope you enjoyed doing this project and you enjoyed watching this video.